Hello, and welcome to another episode of Navinger Family Four Seasons Wine. Today we are stabilizing our peach wine. Certain that the wine is dry. I need to make sure that all the fermentation is stopped. There's no more sugars left in that. So what I'm going to do before stabilizing is to make sure that the wine is dry. I'm going to take an SG reading. I've been taking taken SG readings for the past 2 other days. And so I kind of already know where it's going to fall. We should be somewhere right around the 990 mark. But I just want to confirm it. So what we're going to do is, I have my gallon of peach right here. I'm going to pull the airlock off. And we're going to use the Four Seasons style of Wine Thief. And we're going to drop it into my test jar. Now, I should also mention that just before this, everything has been sprayed down with a K-Meta solution to sterilize, which my solution's right there. We're going to get just enough in here to get my hydrometer to float. Which we're there. Give it a little spin, mainly so I can see the numbers, and I don't know how well you guys can see that, but I'm falling right about 990, which tells me that the wine is dry. It's the third consecutive straight reading of 990 in a row for the last 3 days. Now I can move forward with stabilization. 1 gallon batch of peach set up right here. Let me see how well you guys can see this. What I have is a 3-gallon better bottle and a 1-gallon glass jug. And since they are the same wine, and I had enough fruit to do a 4-gallon batch instead of a 3, I'm racking everything together over into a bottling bucket. Once in the bottling bucket, then we will go ahead and add our stabilizers, our potassium metaphosphate, and I want to get everything blended together good. I've racked it out of the 2 separate carboys into my bottling bucket. Now that we're all caught up to speed here, we're going to go ahead and start our stabilizing. Just pull that aside a little bit. What I'm going to do is add a total of 4 crushed cadmium tablets, since it is a 4-gallon batch. Now, a lot of guys will tell you just to use the K-Meta, and there's nothing wrong with that, or potassium metaphosphate. There's nothing wrong with that at all, except the cadmium tablets work real well for me. It's 1 tablet crushed up per gallon. It's real easy. There's not very much math involved. So I don't know how well you guys can see this, but we're going to add 4 of these. Before I do, like I mentioned, we got to crush them. So generally what I do is set them up here 1 at a time, and I use a couple of teaspoons. They crush up pretty easy. Just crush them up in a nice little powder. Dump the first one into the wine. Number 3 and number 4 for a 4-gallon batch. Set that to the side. And the other thing you need to add when you're stabilizing your wine is potassium sorbate. What the 2 of them together is, the K-Meta, or potassium metaphosphate, or cadmium tablets, however you want to say it, will kind of knock the yeast down. It'll just kind of shock it, not really kill it off, kind of shock it into dormancy, so to speak. The sorbate then, what the sorbate will do is act kind of as a birth control for yeast. It stops it from multiplying from there on out. So you've knocked down what's in there. Now you're adding the sorbate to stop anything from multiplying. That way, when you go back through and you add sugar to back sweeten later on, you don't have a re-fermentation in the bottle. So I don't know how well you guys can see this. It's potassium sorbate, and it's added at 1/2 teaspoon per gallon. I've got a 4-gallon batch. I have a 1/2 teaspoon measuring spoon. One, 2, 3, 2 teaspoons of potassium sorbate in there now. Now comes the real tricky part. Stir, and stir forever. You're doing 2 things here. You're not only mixing up the stabilizers that you just put in your wine, but you're also trying to get all the gases out of your wine that is dissolved in it during the fermentation process. It's also a good time to mention that I did check the SG levels in this before stabilizing to make sure that the wine is dry. I had a .990 on the hydrometer for 3 consecutive days on this, which tells me that fermentation is done. It is below dry, or it is fermented to dry. There's no sugar left. Again, we're going to come back through and do that several times over the next couple of days. But for now, I need to get it back into the carboys and get it back to our wine. Now we've got all this K-Meta and sorbate stirred up into the wine real well. I need to go through and I've washed up my carboys again. I need to go through and spray them yet. So what we're going to do, we're going to grab our K-Meta solution and we're going to come over here. Sorry guys. And we're going to give these a spray down inside the carboy on both of them. And let the gases do their job in there. Now, I've sprayed these down once already. And get the extra K-Meta solution out of there. And really, you're after the gas more so than the liquid itself. It produces a sulfur gas. Now, with that said, we're ready to go ahead and begin putting our wine back out of our bottling bucket into our carboys. As you can see here, I went ahead and attached a line to the fitting on my bottling bucket. It makes racking a whole lot easier. So all we do is open the valve and wait. You can see the wine's going down into the carboy.